The life of Anakin Skywalker is an absolute shit show from start to finish, and I kind of want to talk to you guys about it because it is something else. So to begin, we are going to start off with Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So let's fucking go. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, we are introduced to Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker is 9 years old and he is being played by Jake Lloyd. The problem with Anakin's life is that he is a slave. He is a slave who was born to his mother, Shmi Skywalker, with no father, and he effectively has been a slave since he was 3 years old after his mother got sold to one of the Hutts.
Since I was very little, 3, I think, my mom and I were sold to Gardulla the Hutt.
So, over the course of 6 years, Anakin has been a slave. He has been beaten black and blue by Watto, has interacted with criminals, mercenaries, pod racers like Sebulba, known space captains, merchants, the list goes on. Tatooine is quite literally an extremely dangerous place filled to the brim with all sorts of dangerous individuals. It is not a safe place to be, especially for a child. Later on, the problem then emerges into the pod racing game. Anakin has always wanted to be a pod racer, but unfortunately, his pod racing days aren't exactly that great considering that he has never officially finished a race before, which is just awesome. Liam Neeson, on the other hand, has complete faith in Anakin Skywalker's abilities to actually fly a pod racer and manage to not only finish his first race, but also win, which somehow he does while avoiding giant-ass rumblings of stone, sand people shooting at him, nearly being wrecked into by Sebulba, and crashing into God knows what, including flying through the air for a short period of time. It is then Liam Neeson finally tells him, oh hey, by the way, you're not a slave anymore. I bargained for your freedom, but not your mom's. LOL. Fuck you. Anakin is then taken to the city world of Coruscant. Coruscant is a beautiful place, a giant city filled to the brim with trillions of people with the Jedi Temple just dead in the center. And the Jedi Order tells Qui-Gon Jinn that Anakin can't be trained because he is too old, despite the fact that he actually has some talent with the Force. Over the course of the next 10 years, Anakin Skywalker trains under the tutelage of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not as a son and a father, or father and son, but more as brothers. And that was the problem the entire time, because Anakin didn't need a brother, he needed a dad. A dad to teach him the ways of life, the ways of the Force, and the way to become a Jedi. Obi-Wan Kenobi is not that guy. Obi-Wan Kenobi still struggles with his feelings for Siri Tachi. Which, by the way, fuck Siri Tachi. I don't give a fuck. It even got so bad to the point where Obi-Wan told Luminara that he regrets teaching Anakin anything, and he didn't think that Anakin was a good student. Which, first of all, fuck you, bro. That was bullshit, man. You suck. The Jedi Order then finally decides that it is a good idea to allow a 19-year-old hormonal teenager known as Anakin Skywalker to be around Natalie Portman at all times. You fucking weirdos. What is your deal here? What was your plan? Oh, hey, 19-year-old hormonal Anakin. Go hang out with Natalie Portman for about a week and see what happens. My fucking God. Why is everyone in this movie fucking stupid? Over the course of this entire movie, Anakin Skywalker tries to, and I quote, flirt with Padme Amidala, giving some of the worst fucking pickup lines I have ever heard come out of a human being's mouth. And the only thing worse than the full-on display of him trying to flirt with Padme is the fact that it works, which is bizarre to say the least. Then Anakin casually decides, let's go back to Tatooine so we can find my mom because my mom is haunting my nightmares, which, by the way, just same, by the way. Going back, they find out that Shmi was actually sold to a guy named Lars. Does that sound familiar? Because it should. It doesn't. Come on, you know who it is. Ah, there he is. Owen Lars. Owen Lars, his dad. Why you only got one leg? So after committing just the little bittiest, tiny, itsy-witsy little bit of genocide, coming back to the homestead, having a full-on fucking panic attack about the fact that he couldn't save his mom from death, and then burying her, Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala decide that they want to go back over to Geonosis so they can save Obi-Wan, who got fucking jumped by a droideka because he's Obi-Wan motherfucking Kenobi. So Anakin does what he does best. He gets caught. And then they get locked up. They then get saved by the Jedi, who go from having this amount of soldiers to this amount of soldiers. Yeah, needless to say, they all got fucked up. So then the clone army shows up. They go to interact with Dooku. Anakin gets his arm cut off, and he ends up being married to Natalie Portman. That's the end of episode 2. Immediately after the Battle of Geonosis and the wedding between Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala, we are now introduced to the Clone Wars. Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi are now generals in the Clone Wars, and for some reason, someone thought it would be a good idea to put a former slave child in charge of an army of slave children fighting for the Republic. Yeah, great marketing technique, guys. 10 out of 10. Absolutely zero complaints. But beyond all the war crimes and various other stuff that Anakin Skywalker has been performing throughout the entirety of the Clone Wars, we are now introduced to the worst weekend of Anakin Skywalker. He reunites with his Padawan learner, Ahsoka Tano, after she leaves the Jedi Temple over a bombing. That's a whole story for another time. Chancellor Palpatine has been abducted by General Grievous and Count Dooku, and is now aboard the Invisible Hand, so now Ahsoka Tano must go to Mandalore to face off against the one, the only, Darth Hot Damn Motherfucking Maul. So far, sounds great. It gets worse from here, trust me. And here is where we start the worst weekend of Anakin Skywalker's life. He goes aboard the Invisible Hand with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Count Dooku gets a little ahead of himself. General Grievous somehow escapes, despite the fact that Obi-Wan and Anakin are literally standing right fucking there. Chancellor Palpatine is saved. But then Anakin finds out that Padme's pregnant, which is not good. Not good at all. Then Anakin starts freaking the fuck out. Starts having nightmares about Padme's death. He joins the Jedi Council, but is not given the rank of Master, so he feels like he's not being respected. Then he's told to spy on his father figure, while also Obi-Wan Kenobi fucks off to Utapau to fight against General Grievous with the 212. So, immediately Anakin is not having a fucking good time right now. Anakin then becomes conflicted because Palpatine is a master manipulator who has been at work for some time trying to groom this fucking adult man into becoming his next apprentice. Then he just casually tells Anakin that he's a Sith Lord before Anakin goes to warn Mace Windu, and then stuff starts happening. Anakin invades the Jedi Temple, kills a few kids, initiates Order 66, goes to Mustafar, kills every single member of the Confederacy of Independent Systems that actually had any sort of political power, and just goes fucking crazy on everybody, including his own wife, in which he chokes her out and causes her to die. All while Obi-Wan's just over there, not giving a solitary shit. He doesn't even do anything to try and stop Anakin from choking the shit out of Padme. He's just like, let her go, Anakin. And then he just drops, like, congratulations. You just basically murdered Natalie Portman. Congratulations, Obi-Wan Kenobi. The entirety of Harvard hates you now. You know what happens next. Anakin and Obi-Wan get into the best lightsaber fight in the entirety of the history of Star Wars. That's saying something. Anakin gets his arm and his legs cut off, turns into Darth Vader, and effectively spends the next 23 years inside of a fucking suit where he has to shit in a bag. That's Anakin Skywalker's life. It's very sad, very depressing. And I kind of love it. I don't know if that makes me a terrible person or not.